everyone, if you can't tell, I have my fly tying vise. The original idea for this video was to do a tying test. And so I tied these flies and then I went on the water and I tested them and I caught trout with them. However, I lost, I deleted the footage, almost all of it. But what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna show you these two junk flies because they're good winter patterns in case you wanted to tie them yourselves. And then in another episode, I am going to use only these junk flies and let's see if they work. I know they work, but let's see how well they work. Especially for the winter time, these patterns are really, really important. And so we're gonna tie a squirmy wormy today, and we are going to tie a salmon egg today. So let's get started. All right guys, before we get into tying the squirmy wormy, let's go through our materials list. First we'll start with the hook. I have an Umpqua Tiemco model TMC 2457. This is like a curved scud hook in a size 12. I'm using tungsten beads because I'm going to be Euro nymphing these, or bobber nymphing. And I'm using, for this one, a 5/32 tungsten bead. For thread, I'm using red. I think it complements the worm choice I had. It is a 3/0, so it's kind of thick, but it helps fasten things to the hook. I'm using this unknown kind of sparkly red dubbing I picked up along the way. It works pretty well. Again, it shows some contrast on the squirmy wormy. So I like that, and the red thread a lot matches it pretty well. And then I'm using, I bought these at Orvis, but these are silkworm in a dark red color. For those of you wondering, I use a Peak rotary vise, and I use Dr. Slick tools. So this is a bobbin, comes with scissors and some other important things. And so we have our Tiemco TMC 2457 with the 5/32 tungsten bead in the vise at this moment in time. The squirmy wormy comes in long strips like this. So I cut one in half because that's about all we're going to need. And so what I like to start at the beginning is I like to secure my bead to the hook. So I will start and put my thread on like that, cut off the excess, and then what I'll do is I will do a significant amount of wraps until I feel like the bead is tight and secure. So let's do that. Tighten this up a bit so I can make short work of this. Right, and then try the bead, doesn't move, and then I like to wrap my thread all the way down until about the bend of the hook. That's good. So the squirmy wormy material is really kind of a pain to tie on because the thread is very thin, doesn't displace its weight well or any of that kind of stuff. So the way I tie my squirmy wormy is I put the dubbing on first, and I lay it on pretty thick, right? Because this creates a wider surface area to catch the squirmy wormy. So see, lots of dubbing, right? Very thick, twisting it on there, nice and tight, using the oil from my fingers to get that, right? And I kind of cinch it up, and what I'll do is I will start with wraps, and I'll get maybe like one wrap into the dubbing and just make sure it's nice and tight. And so to get the squirmy wormy on my hook, because if I put it on top, it'll bend forward, right? So what I like to do is I actually like to wrap it a loose wrap on the side, because when I cinch it, it cinches right on the back of the hook. And then what I do is I just grab the front, keep it on the hook, work my way all the way up the hook until I get right to the back of the bead. Make sure this dubbing stays on tight, synthetic, so it's not right. Another wrap. Okay, then I'll pinch this off, get this off of there, right, and then just wrap behind the hook. And then I'll take my whip finish tool and I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll do another whip finish with 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll cut it off. And I won't put any head cement on this because this squirmy worm material will start to disintegrate if you put that on there. So, guys, we have our squirmy wormy. Next, for our salmon egg, we are going to use a Tiemco size 14 TMC 2457. We are going to use some 1/8 sized tungsten beads. We are going to use 6/0 white thread. And for this particular salmon egg, we are going to use I can't even pronounce them, not even going to try to. We're going to use this color, McFly foam. But it also comes in McCheese. It comes in tangerine. It comes in chartreuse, which is also one of my favorites. And it also comes in apricot. And then you can do a mix of them from there. So, let's get tying. Okay, so I have my Tiemco TMC 2457 hook with my 1/8 tungsten bead. And so I'm going to take my 6/0 white thread and tie it on securely and cut off the excess. Just like the squirmy wormy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a significant amount of wraps behind the bead head in order to secure the bead, because we really don't want it going anywhere. Although I think once I finally tie on the McFly foam, it won't go anywhere anyway, but just to secure it down and do that sort of stuff. Let's make many wraps here and make sure that that bead is secure. A little movement, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna move my thread down to the middle of the shank of the hook. And so I take a strip of McFly foam, I fold it, and I cut it several times. So what I do is I take just that much, and I do the same thing like I do with the squirmy wormy. I put the foam facing me, and as I cinch it, it'll go that way, All right, and you can spread it out to get the thread in deeper. It's twisting a little bit, which is normal, but as long as you get one chunk on there, it's easier to get the other chunk on there. Okay. And that seems pretty secure. I got a nice divot in the middle, so I know where that's at. So now I'm going to take another loose wrap and follow the same pattern and process. And stretch it out, cinch it in, stretch it out, cinch it in. Right. It usually moves all over the hook. It does all this stuff. I'm an amateur. If you have a better way of doing this, please comment down below. Right. Okay. Almost there. That's good. That's good. And then I pull it all back and I go back to the bend or behind the bead of the hook again, right? And so I'll take my whip finish tool and I'll do that before I do any of the cutting and the trimming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Cinch this up a little bit. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Take my scissors and cut off the thread. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get all this as tight as possible and just pull it straight up. I'm going to take my scissors. You should probably use different ones because the foam is pretty tough stuff and you don't want to wear out your scissors. And just kind of in a half arc, cut the material off. Right? And so then what you can do is you can take it off the vise, or you can keep it on the vise and just do some trimming work until you are satisfied with your end result. And of course, I'm an amateur. It's kind of ugly, but that is a salmon egg, and it works effectively because I did save one video of a trout I caught on it, and here that is. All right, guys. So first guy on the salmon egg. It's a stocked rainbow, and he's pretty angry. So hopefully I can get a decent shot. There we go. You see the salmon egg? He ate it. Cool. So guys, that was the trout, and you can see the salmon egg in his mouth. And as I said before, this is the tie, so I intend this weekend to go out and just throw these two flies. And so because they have both have tungsten beads, I can throw them at the same time, and I'll keep track on how many fish I catch on which fly. I might change colors of salmon egg. I won't change colors of squirmy wormy because I really like that color. And we'll see how we do in the next episode. So I know this is different. I also know I said I hated fly tying, but considering the circumstances of deleting my footage, I hope you enjoyed this nonetheless. And I hope you learned something, and those who are better at fly tying than me, please, I welcome any of the feedback. I don't like this fly tying thing, but if I'm gonna do it, I might as well get better at it. And so, thanks again for watching another episode. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm still gonna pump out content. I'm gonna try and continue every week. So, I hope all of you take care of yourselves. I hope all of you be well, and I will definitely see you on the next one.